Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to remove a motor out of a 1641. Had this motor running and I'm just not awfully happy with it. The plastic on it is in exceptionally great shape, so we're going to part it out. Now this nose piece on this machine has no flaws in it at all, which is rare. We're gonna cut this zip tie right here. The harness isn't in the grandest shape. This machine, I believe, was out in the elements for quite a long time. There wasn't any electric clutch on it. What I found was pretty interesting is this is what they had. Here's the spark plugs that came out of it. I put some new ones in it thinking that it would straighten it out, but they had this pulley, this washer right up against the block, and what a noise it was making. It did distort the seal area a little bit. You can see where it was running around the seal area. But what a noise it made. I never seen that before. I'm assuming they were starting it up with the deck right engaged. Gentleman claimed it smoked real bad. Now, I did have it running once and I thought it ran pretty good, but I think the rod was, after it warmed up, the rod was starting to tighten up on the crank. Now I realize this is a common thing, but this is something that happens here every day, taking a motor out. Sell a lot of motors. So next we're going to unhook the wiring. I already have the one that goes to the electric solenoid on the carburetor already unhooked. So the motor is almost unhooked. Right there probably was some of the issue. This wasn't plugged in at all. It was just plugged that far in. It needs to be snapped all the way there. When you start dismantling them, you find out a lot of issues that the machines have. Now, I had a gentleman contact me yesterday, and he contacted me again. He had an 1872 that he just put a 23 horsepower Briggs & Stratton in. I'd love to see pictures of that. So if you're watching this video, send me pictures if you could. I love to see people's projects. Now that motor's never been out of there. That bolt there's a little bit rusty. We're going to get the one over the axle, and then we're going to unhook, and we're going to take the bolt out right here. It's a 1/4 inch. And we're going to take half the firewall out. So I thought I was going to be able to save this motor, and then I found out differently. Right there's a wire we need to, this is your kill wire right here. Now make sure you take that bolt out there, and now you're divided there. We'll go to the other side. But before we go to the other side, we are going to start getting the cables unhooked. It'll take a 5/16 to do that. Now I'm going to put that back in there. Even though this is a core, I had a lot of people come in, just need miscellaneous parts. Now, I've taken apart a lot of 1641s, but I am going to be honest, I never mowed with a 1641. Actually, I don't know if I've ever driven a 1641. They're quite common around here, but usually when they come in, they're not fixable. Now the firewall should be pretty much unhooked. And that'll make it easy to get it out. The bottom bolt's out. While we're doing that, we'll unhook the indicator light for the oil. We'll unhook that. Now you don't have to take the mule drive. This had a GT deck on it, had a GT 48. As much oil as it was leaking, the deck was still rusty. I was very surprised. Now we have a zip tie in this area right here. I'll show you that. We're going to trim that where they ran the hydraulic lines around the engine plate. Get the one over the axle. That one was loose. I'm going to pull the hot wire that goes to the starter. I'm going to pull that through. Now this is the wiring for the other side. We just pull it through, and actually when we pull the motor, it's going to go right on through, so it won't be an issue. But way down in there is a zip tie. You can barely see it. We're going to trim that, and this motor should be about ready to come out. Slides right off the drive shaft. And there we go. One thing nice about the Cyclops is the spline drive shaft. Right there's the coupling. It just slides right out. That was an improvement from the 82 series, but to be honest with you, I love the CV type drive shaft in it. But that motor's going to go parts. We'll just sell the miscellaneous parts, the shielding, starter, carburetor, and the fuel pump. But some of the parts will sell. Once in a while, you'll sell a flywheel. Always want to get the 16-tooth gear for the starter drive gear. If you get the wrong one, it will tear out the flywheel. So that's the reason you sell quite a few flywheels. So thank you so much for watching. We're going to move on to the next thing. Hope you like it when we mix quite a few different things we're doing each day, and we're going to be moving right on. Welcome back to the channel. Yours truly just ran into his brand new four-wheeler, and I did not realize this 1606 didn't have sufficient brakes. I wasn't going that fast. I did run right into the back of it. Wasn't awfully happy about it, but decided to bring it right in. I tore it apart. Didn't even think about filming it, but now we're going to do it. We're going to install new parts, actually just use, but it had an issue and it was all on the left-hand side. We are going to put brakes on the right. The main issue was the brake caliper was froze up. Now these go left to right. All you have to do is flip them one way or the other. But this one here was completely froze up and it wasn't activating at all. Another issue it had was this bracket right here wasn't lined up, so it wasn't straight. Now you can see on the brake pad, there's more meat here than there is there. Now, how you do that is you'll just align this up so this pad will go in and out like this. Now, when you do that, then you're pretty close on that. Just kind of eye it to make sure it's correct. These are not precision brakes by no means. This is not your car. You're not going 55, 65 mile an hour. So it really doesn't make that, it's not that crucial. But we're gonna put a new set of pads in it. We're actually gonna put pads out of a Cyclops 1641 actually. They'll fit in. The hardware from a Cyclops will not go into an 82 series chassis. So the brake pads will, I believe even the brake pads will go into a 3000 series. But we're gonna put this together. It isn't really that complicated of a job. Just make sure you get everything lubed up really good. We're going to kind of sand the bushings right here so the pad goes back and forth. Like I always say, when something goes wrong, there's usually a reason. And I don't get too upset about anything of that nature because usually when you tear something apart, you find more that you need to fix. This is actually going to be going to a tractor pull. Probably my nephew will take it. So I definitely want it to have sufficient brakes on it. So we're going to put it together. We're going to make sure this is going to have to go this way to activate it. So we're going to put the bolts in the pad. We're going to go about that far right now, and right here's the pad we're going to put in. These are 3/8 fine. Right here is the bushings we're going to put in here. We're going to need to clean them up a little bit. Now, they're never going to stay nice and clean with grass getting on them, or if you're plowing, moldboard plowing or whatever, they're going to get dirty. I am going to, at the end, I'm going to put rust treatment on it, Permatex, and the reason why, it'll turn them nice and black, make them look a little bit nicer on all the hardware. It has a little bit of rust on them. We're going to put these slider pins in. Then we're going to put the springs. Actually, I'm going to put different springs on it. I'm going to put a little bit smaller ones on. And the reason why they won't be so close to the, I'm actually going to use the ones on the Cyclops, so they won't be so close to the rotor here. Now these aren't much different than a car. I've had a lot of guys that said they like the internal brakes better. Me personally, I'd rather have external brakes. And the reason why is they're accessible to change out. Everyone has their preference. Now we're going to tighten them up. Takes a 9/16. Pretty good shape right there. Now, one thing is I rethreaded all these slack adjusters right here, so it makes it easier for adjusting. I'm gonna put the spring back on. And we're in pretty good shape right there. I don't think we'll have to adjust it. Again, But if we do, we're going to put a quick pin. We're not going to put a cotter pin back in. And the reason why is so if we have to take it apart again, it's really not a big problem. So we have it adjusted just about right. Let's spray some of this on here, this rust treatment. This will turn everything that's a little bit rusty black. It'll just make the job look a little bit better. One thing nice about this product, when you get done, if you want to paint them black, you can. Not very many people are going to see it anyways, but. So now we're on to the right-hand side. We're going to get the caliper ready. We're going to make sure that it's the right way, and that is the right way, so that nub right there on the caliper activates the brake. We're going to grab a bolt. We're going to hold it. We're going to put the new pad in, which I shouldn't say new, but newer. Now, one thing is, and I just did that, a lot of times somebody gets distracted, and I get a lot of machines in that they don't get the bolts through the caliper or through the brake pad. And these machines come in, and I had it happen quite a few times. And what happens when you go forward and reverse, your brake pad in there jumps up and down. You won't have sufficient brakes. So make sure when you put it together that your bolt goes right through your pad, just like that. I've had that happen quite a few times. Put the springs on. Now it's kind of a balancing act. It's going to take you a little bit of time. My first couple times it took me a little bit. Still does sometimes. Sometimes things just don't go right doing this job. So don't get frustrated. It happens. We're going to put this side in first. Now these are locking nuts, so they're not going to come off, but you do want to tighten them up. They don't have to be overly tightened up. So we're in pretty good shape there. Let's put the spring and stuff on here in the slack adjuster. Okay, I'm going to reach over to the pedal. Actually, let's just set the brakes. I can't quite reach. And I believe we're in excellent shape. We'll make sure they release. And we're in good shape. So we're going to spray some of that on there. I'll lube up them brakes just a tad. It's WD-40. Let's get the wheels on it and let's try it. I believe we're in good shape. Now we're going to move on to something else.